Honorable the Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, Honorable Mr. Justice A. M. Shafi, Honorable Judges, respected former judges, President of the Kerala High Court Advocacy Association, Mr. Thomas Abraham, President of the Kerala Federation of Women Lawyers, Mr. S.K. Devi, Senior Lawyers Association President, Mr. N. Sudaparan, Standing Council for Government of India Taxes, Mr. P.K. Ravindranath Maran, Law Officers of the Central and State Governments, esteemed members of the Bar, Registrar General and other registrars and members of staff of the High Court, members of staff of the Office of the Advocate General, President and members of the High Court, Advocate Class Association, wife of Justice A. M. Shafiq, Sumudi, family of Shafiq, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have come here to bid farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice A. M. Shafiq, who is laying down office as a judge of the High Court on superannuation. In his exit, this Honorable High Court is losing one of the most eminent and distinguished judges who, by the radiance of his intellect, make his position of law and ardent commitment to human values and justice has brought luster and glory to this prestigious constitutional institution. His intimate association with the Temple of Justice extends over a period of more than three and a half decades. Earlier as a lawyer from 1983 to 2011, and then as a judge at the since November 2011. In both the fields of activity, he excelled, earning for him the laurels and accomplishments of a lawyer and astute judge of versatile attributes. Born of late M.K. Abdul Khader and Jamila at Adirampuzha in Kottayam, Justice Shafiq secured his law degree from Government Law College, Ernakulam. He got enrolled in the year 2083 and commenced his practice of law as a junior of advocate late T.P. Krishnan Nair. Later he joined the office of senior advocate C.M. Javin, who paved his way to the law firm, Messrs. Menon Pai, in which he later became a partner. In recognition of his merit and recognition as lawyer, he was designated as senior lawyer in the year 2007. He was elevated as a judge in the High Court in November 2011, and that was a mark of beginning of the illustrious judicial career which now has passed through a time of span of more than a decade and deeply inscribing on the walls of time sagas of legendary dispensers of justice and purposive guidance of humanity. As a judge, Justice Shafiq is without many parallels. With his sharp intellect and deep learning, complemented by a profound understanding of law and social problems, he could be highly creative and in discharge of his judicial functions. All branches of law yielded to his genius alike, making him a very efficient and versatile judge. His intellectual, ideological and philosophical predilections were always in favor and aimed at the establishment of a social order governed by rule of law, transforming rule of law into a more positive and dynamic concept with realistic socio-economic content and political overtones deeply embedded in it. He believed will go a long way in securing the cherished ideas and usages in the preamble of the Constitution, namely justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and to the citizens of the country. As a dynamic judge, there was that awareness deeply ingrained in him that today the role of a judge should not be merely to adjudicate the rights and wrongs, but more creative and visionary nature so as to face newer challenges and shoulder vast range of responsibilities in upholding the Constitution and laws. For that very reason, his reflections on the bench seem to express his belief that forensic institutions and legal systems prevalent in the day needed new orientations. Ever conscious of the fact that law is what does, and that the court is an active modulator of social rights, his relentless efforts were always to study and understand new developments in the different fields of law, knowledge such as science, technology, environment, and the like, with their implications and impacts in the social life of the country. That approach empowered him to deal with the delicate and difficult subjects and issues that came up before him for discussion and loosened efficiency and success. That enabled him to be more merely to mold and a good judge of himself, but to make significant contributions to the growth and development of law as well. And if that is the hallmark of a judge, great judge, invariably, definitely tributes and encomiums deservingly goes to Justice Shafiq for being one. Apart from the judge, a judge and a lawyer, as an individual life in all his finer facets fused into him. It is said that quality of one's life is measured by the vision he possesses. For Justice Shafiq, life was a journey of exciting adventure, and with a dynamism too deep-rooted, ruptured, he faced it. Fortunes always smiled on him, and for that very reason, the fact that retirement from service will only serve to open up new avenues and vistas before him that will lead to his further glorious and covetable destinations. Honorable Shafiq, in these moments of parting, we wish you well and the best of life. At this juncture, I on behalf of the lawyer fraternity of the state and on my own behalf, bid you farewell and wish you many more years of happy, creative and fruitful life. We, Mr. Shafiq, Mr. Timothy, Formula Shafiq and the members of the family are happy with us today. At this moment, we wish them also well.
Honorable Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, Honorable Mr. Justice C.T. Devikumar, Honorable Justice Harit Prasad, Honorable Justice Vinod Chandran, the family members of Justice Shafiq, Advocate General Mr. C.P. Sudhagar Prasad, Additional Advocate General Mr. K.K. Ravindranath, State Attorney Mr. K.B. Sohan, Senior Standing Counsel for Taxes Mr. P.K. Ravindranath Menon, former Advocate General Mr. K.P. Dandapani, respected elder members of the legal fraternity, Registrar General and other officers of this court, advocate clerks and dear friends. The harsh reality has reached our doorstep. From the next day, we have to reconcile with the painful truth that there will be a court number 3B without His Lordship Justice A.M. Shafiq. 10 years back, in 2011, this court hall witnessed a lustrous and magnificent function. This bar felt virtually enthralled with boundless pride and joy when its 4 members together were elevated to the exalted portals of this honorable court. Mr. Justice A.M. Shafiq, along with Mr. Justice V. Chidambaresh, Mr. Justice A. Harilal, and Mr. Justice K. Vinod Chandran were the cause of the exhilaration of the bar on that day. I was fortunate to speak on behalf of the bar in that auspicious function. My fond or rather proud remembrance that I referred to His Lordship and the other 3 members as invaluable pearls picked from the depth of the ocean of the bar is worth mentioning, as a decade that has passed has proved that the words spoken about the 4 members in my reference speech are worth to be inscribed in gold. The bedrock of any healthy democracy is unstinted commitment to the rule of law, which is the cardinal virtue a judge should possess. Mr. Justice A.M. Shafiq has doubtlessly proved that he has this in abundance. Mr. A.M. Shafiq belongs to Adirapuda in Kottayam district. After completing his education at Government Law College of Ernakulam, he got enrolled in the year 1983. Till 1986, he practiced as a junior to Advocate Mr. T.P. Krishnan Nair before joining the office of the Senior Counsel, Mr. C.M. Devan. When the office of Mr. C.M. Devan became part of Mrs. Menon and Pai, Justice A.M. Shafiq became an associate lawyer at the firm. It is often said that the legal profession horizon is the limit for those who are willing to strive hard 28 years of practice earned his lordship in-depth knowledge in various branches of law, and his lordship steadily climbed the rungs of Mrs. Menon and Pai to become the senior partner of the firm before his elevation to the exalted office of the judge of this honorable court. In the full court reference held in this honorable court on 8th November 2011, on the occasion of the swearing-in ceremony of Justice A.M. Shafiq, while concluding the reply speech, his lordship had mentioned that an invitation to become a judge should not be refused, and that brings with it an obligation to render justice impartially. Suffice to say, on this day when Justice A.M. Shafiq steps down after 9 years, 3 months and 5 days, his lordship can proudly claim that he fully achieved his noble goal. His lordship gesture of sharing his strong feelings of gratitude towards his teachers at Holy Angels Convent, Trivandrum, St. Joseph's High School, Trivandrum, Government Arts College, Trivandrum, Marivanis College and Government Law Colleges in Trivandrum and Ernakulam, in addition to his basketball coach, late Sri P.C. Thomas, for the role they played in shaping his personality, reveals his lordship's integrity and his respect for his past. Personally, I do feel happy to recapitulate this luminous portion of his reply speech for 2 reasons. One, I also had spent my student days in St. Joseph's High School and Government Arts College as his lordship's senior. And the second reason is that my late father was one among the fortunate teachers in St. Joseph's High School who were gratefully recollected by their brilliant student at the moment of his elevation. The patient and considerable approach his lordship always adopted to the junior members of the bar will never be forgotten by those who were fortunate to experience the same. Even while taking strong decisions, your lordship was always successful in maintaining your present manners. This bar also proudly vouches that you are leaving a rich legacy through your erudite judgments. When your lordship leaves the corridors of this great institution of ours, the main stakeholders, the advocates and advocate clerks, and of course, those who approach this court craving for justice, are all virtually left in the lurch owing to the constrictions in the process of dispensation of justice, which unfortunately still haunts this institution, even though 10 months have passed after the facts of the pandemic started threatening us. It is indeed a long period to work out practical remedies to overcome the crisis. The bar, which is the greatest stakeholder, has to be taken into confidence while taking any decision touching the functioning of our system. Solutions have to be worked out at lightning speed, and not only to protect those connected with the process, but also to protect the very credibility of this institution itself. The lawyers in general and the junior lawyers in particular are going through the most difficult days. The advocate clerks are an integral part of our system, and this glaring fact can no more be discarded. Every member of the legal fraternity has boundless obligations to our clerks, which we recollect with gratitude till our end. Therefore, when they are facing real crisis, we cannot be mute spectators. This I am constrained to mention only because your lordship's experience as a lawyer and judge of this court could have contributed a lot had your lordship been with us till this vessel of justice, overcoming the turbulent waves of the current day pandemic, reaches safe shores. I do realize that what I am visualizing is an impossibility, but we are sure that your lordship is leaving with us all the good wishes for every one of us. The bar has absolute trust in our Honorable Chief Justice and other Honorable Judges. The discussions were fruitful, and the same have indeed started showing positive results. A lot more problems remain to be resolved. Our ultimate target should be to restore the physical system in full. How this can be achieved is a matter which should incessantly pester our brains. The time is short, and the task before us is Herculean in nature. Let us resolve to strive together and declare that we shall overcome. We, the members of the bar, have warm memories about you, which we will continue to share in the corridors of this court, even years after your departure. The best tribute any judge can expect from the bar is the sweet recollections, which will be passed on to coming generations of lawyers also. We, the members of the bar, bid your lordship farewell and wish good health and long life to continue your valuable service to this nation. Thank you all.
A.M. Shafi, my esteemed brother and sister judges, Mr. C.P. Sudhakar Prasad, Learned Advocate General, Mr. K.K. Ravindranath, Learned Additional Advocate General, Mr. P.K. Ravindra Menon, Senior Standing Counsel, Government of India Taxes, Mr. P. Vijay Kumar, Learned Assistant Solicitor General of India, Mr. K.V. Sohan, Learned State Attorney, Mr. Sridhar Nair, Learned Director General Prosecutions, Mr. Thomas Abraham, Learned Advocate and President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Association, Srimati S.K. Devi, Learned Advocate and President of the Kerala Federation of Women Lawyers, respected senior advocates, my dear junior lawyers, Registrar General and other registrars of the High Court of Kerala, Madam Srimati Shamila Shafi and other family members of Honorable Justice Shafi, staff of this court, members of the Clerks Association, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all of you. Today, after a very distinguished and devoted service to the justice delivery system for more than 9 years, my esteemed brother, Honorable Justice K.M. Shafiq is demitting his office on attaining superannuation. And thus we have assembled here to bid an affectionate farewell to one of our esteemed brother Judge, Justice Shafiq. I want to recollect about his elevation, subsequent conferment of senior advocate designation, as well as sworn as a judge of this court. My association with the Honorable Justice Shafi is from 11/10/2019, just over 1 year and 3 months. Initially, I sat with him for 2 weeks. Right from the beginning, I should say that I can never reach the pace, the calm and composure of the way in which he dealt with everybody in this court, all including staff, brother judges, and thus by way of this procession, he had, I would say, satisfied not only his conscience, the oath that he has taken. I always used to say, I have taken an oath as per my ability, knowledge and judgment. And I have no hesitation to say on this day that Justice Shafiq has discharged his duties according to his conscience and the oath he has taken. As a judge, he has disposed of 12,317 cases, single bench, 18,363 cases, division bench, 50 cases, full bench, and 14 cases, larger bench. Totally, he has disposed of 30,744 cases. He has delivered many landmark judgments. I have gone through some of them, and I picked up a few. In Raghavan, AP versus State of Kerala and others, 2015, Kerala High Court cases, the Honorable Division Bench consisting of Justice Shafiq considered the question of conversion of a village panchayat to a municipal council vis-a-vis the requirements under Article 243Q 2 and Section 4(1) of the Kerala Municipality Act. After considering the constitutional and statutory provisions, the Honorable Division Bench upheld the notification issued by the government by observing that though the notifications in the Article 243Q and Section 4(1) of the Act have been published on the same day, that will not in any way affect the steps taken by the government for the conversion of the village panchayat to a municipal council. If you go through the judgment, one would appreciate this approach as to how the constitutional provisions vis-a-vis the statutory provisions have to be interpreted to the facts of this case. This is a very interesting judgment. In Oman versus Union of India, reported in 2017, 3 KLP 1097, Justice Shafi has considered a case relating to award of compensation to the legal heirs of a person who died in an accident while employed in Dubai. The preliminary court of Dubai awarded a compensation amount of 1,50,000 dirhams, that is equal to rupees 17,79,000 as on 1999. Father of the deceased had approached the consulate of Dubai for realization of this amount. Later he came to know that some unknown persons had forged the certificates and documents relating to his son and obtained the entire money by committing fraud. Hence, father had approached his court for a direction to respondents to disperse the amount. After considering the powers and jurisdiction of under Article 32 and 226 of the Constitution and various decisions of the Honorable Supreme Court, the bench presided over by Justice Shafi observed that if steps had been taken by the consulate in time to put in application claiming the amount in question on behalf of the legal heirs, fraud could have been prevented. The bench therefore held that there was negligence on the part of the consulate in handling the matter, and hence the Union of India was liable to pay the compensation. This is again, I would say, this is fear or favor of fictional ill will that is extended its constitutional powers against the Union of India, and as well as pointed out that it was a consulate who erred and not the father. In Union of India versus Subhadra, reported in 2016, 2 KLP1, a bench consisting of Justice Shafi, while dealing with an appeal filed by the Union of India against granting of freedom fighters pension to the petitioner therein, held that even if a person is convicted for 2 years or more and later on given a remission, and that he did not undergo the imprisonment for the entire period, the bench held it cannot be said that he had not undergone the imprisonment for the period where he was convicted and thus allowed the period. Thus, you could see the patriotism of Honorable Justice Shafi in considering the plea of our freedom fighters pension. Apart from his judicial functions, Justice Shafi was the president of the Kerala State Mediation and Conciliation Centre from 15/11/2019 to 2/6/2020. During his tenure, Justice Shafi has guided the Mediation and Conciliation Centre in various activities. Many awareness, training and refresher programs have been conducted by the Mediation Committee to the benefit of the litigants and legal fraternity. This juncture, I must mention that out of 16,912 cases mediated, 5,694 cases were settled. The success rate being 40%, over 40%, which shows his keen interest in bringing the parties to a win-win situation without undergoing the ordeal of a prolonged litigation. Under the guidance and dynamic leadership of Brother Justice Shafiq, the Kerala Judicial Academy is actively engaged with a number of training programs for the judicial officers, officers of the Social Justice Department, law officers and staff of this court. Since training to the various stakeholders should not be discontinued at any cost, whether for COVID or for any other reason, with the guidance of Justice Shafiq, several virtual programs have been conducted by the Academy, which includes special training for 104 nominated advocates of the state on e-filing and e-court services in regional languages. Besides, 1,243 staff members of the district judiciary had participated in online programs on e-court services and SIS. I'm sure that without his constant consideration to the activities of the Kerala State Judicial Academy, without being judged, discharging his judicial functions, Shafiq has done commendable work in the State Judicial Academy as well. Briefly, he was the chairman of the High Court Legal Service Committee between 22/5/2019 and 28/11/2019. After assumption of my office, Mr. Shafiq one day said, so there is one institution which has not been functioning in the full force. Therefore, he said that we have to revive the said institution, that is Indian Law Institute, Kerala State Unit. I'm extremely happy that Justice Shafiq has activated this Kerala Law Unit once again and conducted law lectures and seminars to the benefit of the litigants and the legal fraternity. On the administrative side, Justice Shafiq has served as a chairman of the Committee for Scrutiny of Statements to be Furnished to the Honorable Supreme Court, SCMS Committee, and Vigilance Committee. He was a member of several committees such as Administrative Committee, Finance Committee, High Court Building and Judges Quarters Committee, Special Committee for looking into the security measures of the High Court, Delays and Arrears Committee. At this juncture, on behalf of the High Court, I personally thank him for his valuable suggestions on the aspect of security measures to be taken in this court. There cannot be any second opinion about his personal qualities: calm, composed, and soft-spoken. Justice Shafiq has won the hearts of many with his mature approach. The presence of so many people here in this auditorium for the court hall itself will vouchsafe of his above qualities. The leadership qualities which is innate in him is amply reflected in widening the reach of Kerala Judicial Academy, Mediation and Conciliation Center, and the Indian Law Institute to the litigants and legal fraternity. I have no hesitation to say that Brother Justice Shafiq has performed his duties without fear or favor, perfection or ill will, and according to the Constitution of the court. To me personally, Brother Justice Shafiq has helped me a lot by actively participating and giving creative, practical, and fruitful suggestions during the deliberations of the Administrative Committee while dealing with important and complex matters. I thank him personally for your help, sir. I asked Justice Shafiq that after his retirement, I think I said this on more than one occasion, what would be your future activities? He said, I will stay in Kerala. Now, on behalf of everybody present here, I honestly believe and wish Brother Justice Shafiq can continue his legal pursuit by enrolling himself as a senior advocate in the Supreme Court of India, which may be even useful to the High Court of Kerala. On this occasion, my sincere regards and respect to Madam Swamita, wife of Brother Justice Rafi, the family members who are present here, and all those who are associated with him in the discharge of his duties as judge. But for our active support, it's very difficult for a judge to perform his duties. While bidding farewell to Brother Justice Rafi, I, on behalf of my sisters and brothers on the bench, on my own behalf, extend our deep gratitude for your cooperation and convey our best wishes for your good health, happiness, and best wishes to all the family members present here. Thank you.
Respected my Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice, Sri S. Manikumar, my esteemed brother and sister judges, Advocate General Sri C.P. Sudhara Prasad, President of the Kerala High Court Advocates Bar Association, Sri Thomas Abraham, the Assistant Solicitor General of India, Sri P. Vijay Kumar, Sri K.K. Ravindranath, Additional Advocate General, Sri K.V. Sohan, State Attorney, Special Ground Bearers, Srimati S.K. Devi, President of the Kerala Federation of Women Lawyers, Sri N.N. Sukurna Pal, President of the Senior Advocates Association, Sri P.K. Ravindranath Menon, Senior Standing Counsel, Government of India, Taxes, Senior Advocates, members of the bar, Registrar General and other registrars, officers, staff members of the High Court, advocate clerks, my family members who are present here, and all those who are viewing this function on virtual mode, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I express my gratitude to our Chief Justice, Learned Advocate General, and the President of the High Court Advocates Association for having abundantly praised me and wishing me good luck. Luck, of course, one requires in plenty, but praises, I do not know whether my shoulders are capable of holding it. On this day, I have completed 9 years and 3 months of my tenure as Judge of this Court. I am elated and I am proud to limit office with the belief that I have kept this office in full compliance with the oath that I have administered while being sworn in as a Judge of this Court. At this moment, I would express my heartfelt gratitude to former Chief Justice of this Court and former Judge of the Supreme Court, Justice S.C. Chalameshwar, Justice C.N. Ramachandran Nair, former Judge of this Court, and former Chief Justice of Sikkim High Court and former Judge of this Court, Sri Paisi Kuriakose, for recommending my name and providing me an opportunity to be a Judge of this Court. As a lawyer, my career was shaped up by seniors late Sri T.P. Krishnan Nair and senior counsel late Sri C.M. Devan, who gave me valuable guidance and helped me in understanding the nuances of preparation of pleadings and conduct of trial. After I joined the lawyers firm Menon & Pai, I had the support and encouragement of senior counsel late Sri P.K. Kurian and a bunch of lawyers including Sri J.B. Koshi, former Judge of this Court and former Chief Justice of Patna High Court, Sri C.N. Ramachandran Nair, former Judge of this Court, Sri Anthony Dominic, former Chief Justice of this Court, Justice A.K. Jayasinghan Nambiar and Justice P. Gobita. Being part of Menon & Pai and being able to work in the firm for about 22 years gave me the strength to give consent when I was invited to become a judge of this great institution. I thank all the lawyers and staff of Menon & Pai, former and present, who had supported me in building my career as a lawyer and as a judge of this court. After becoming a judge, I realized that the expertise I gained from the profession was not enough to decide the diverse issues that came before this court. To confide, some of the jurisdictions were alien to my line of practice. It therefore required more effort and an in-depth study on different jurisdictions dealt by this court. I would say that I got enriched to the level of deciding cases in diverse subjects only with the unstinted cooperation and assistance from members of the bar. They were good to me, they cooperated with me, and they shared their knowledge. Without the assistance of the lawyers, judgment writing would have become a difficult exercise. I am proud to realize that this court is blessed with a cream of erudite lawyers who are capable of taking forward this institution to greater heights. I therefore thank all the members of the bar for their active support and cooperation. I remember with pride the association I had with former Chief Justices of this court, Justice Manjula Chelu, Justice Ashok Bhushan, presently Judge Supreme Court. Both of them had helped me considerably in moderating my career as a judge of this court. I would like to convey my gratitude to all other Chief Justices of this court, including our Chief Justice, for having entrusted me with various administrative functions and the opportunity to function as member and President of Board of Governors of Kerala State Mediation and Conciliation Centre, Chairman of the High Court Legal Service Committee, President of the Judicial Academy, and Executive Chairman of the Indian Law Institute of Kerala Unit. I thank all of them for the confidence reposed on me. While being part of such committees and also while heading such forums, I had the constant support and advice of all my brother and sister judges, and also the registrars and office bearers of such forums. I thank all of them for their valuable contribution. Srimati Remya, late Sri Tulsidas, and Srimati Renuka were my private secretaries. Srimati Jayashree and Srimati Kesia Paul worked as my personal assistant. Srimati Selina Velayathan and Srimati Sinsi Sebastian had functioned as my court officers. Sri Unikrishnan, Sri Suresh, Sri Jensen and Sri Sunny Joseph were my office attendants. Sri Chanavas and Sri Ganesh were my office attendants at home. Srimati Geeta was my part-time sweeper. Sri Madhusudan was my chauffeur. Sri Nasser, Suraj and Abhilash were in charge of my personal security. Sri Vaishal Guptan and Sri Arun Kumar had worked as research assistants in my chamber. All of them had done their respective works diligently and with utmost care. I thank all of them for their dedicated service. Special thanks to the Public Relations Wing of this court, the Protocol Wing of this court, and to the librarians for the services rendered by them effectively without any demur. I owe my parents for giving me a good education and bringing me up with nurtured values. My brother Mohammed Mustafa, his son Abdul Basit, my wife Shamila, my sons Abdul Zafir and Mohammed Rais, and my daughter-in-law Nareem Khadija are here to witness this function. My mother left for heavenly board last July. If she was here, she would have been unhappy that I retired. But I can tell with pride that all my family members and friends ensured that no interference was caused to my judicial work at any point of time. And they stood firm with me in times of need. COVID pandemic has slowed down our work for the last 1 year, but the courts have used the latest technology to tide over the impasse to a certain extent. As permitted by the Apex Court, we could extend judicial service by virtual mode, and though confining to the limitations faced by us and the health protocol to be followed, we have been successful in ensuring that those cases which required immediate attention and priority were duly attended. All the stakeholders, the litigant public, advocates, advocate clerks, staff of the courts, and of course the judges have shown considerable restraint and worked hard following the restrictions imposed by the High Court. I take this opportunity to congratulate all of them for their good work even during difficult times. Public reposes great confidence in the judicial system of the country, of which lawyers are an indispensable part. Bar and the bench are an integral part of the same mechanism which administers justice to the people. Court's fundamental duty is to uphold the rule of law as enshrined by our Constitution. Lawyer's profession is a noble calling which has to be maintained by its members by their exemplary conduct both in and outside the court. What the lawyers do affects not only an individual but the administration of justice, which is the foundation of a civilized society. A lawyer is also under an obligation to uphold the rule of law and ensure that the public justice system functions properly to its full potential. As you all know, judgments are often criticized, and at times the judges too. No judge fears criticism. A criticism on judgments have to be taken in the right spirit, and we do so. But when a news is published to malign a judge from whatever source, it is intended to cause a dent to the justice delivery system, which we are all part of it. Our motto should be to enhance professional standards in learning and rendering justice while maintaining high ethical standards. Apart from the judiciary, other wings of the government have to work together to ensure that the common man is given due share in participating to the welfare of this nation. The economic growth in the form of GDP alone is not enough for the progress of the nation. Every citizen of this country should feel that he is equally treated, irrespective of the caste, creed or color, and he gets a fair opportunity in the nation-building process. Unless the common man feels dignified and his aspirations are considered in accordance with the constitutional principles, the progress of the nation cannot be achieved in letter and spirit. Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, said, quote, "Dignity consists not in possessing honors, but in the consciousness that we deserve them," unquote. All of us will have to work together to ensure that the citizens of this country should feel proud of our nations. Jawaharlal Nehru said, quote, "Failure comes only when we forget ideals and objectives and principles," unquote. Let us not fail. Once again, I thank all of you. Jai Hind.